Hi, this is Erik with programwitheric.com, and today here I'm doing something a little different. In the next week, I'm going to release a video every day on a different topic on Ember. And today's topic will be installing Ember or upgrading an existing project to the latest version of Ember. So, the Ember CLI guide, if you go to Ember.cli.com/user-guide, has some pretty great instructions on how to get started. You need to have Node installed and Bower, and once you have Node installed, you can run the npm install command. So we'll go ahead and do those steps. Before we get started, to get Node installed, this is a guide for Mac and Linux versions. If you're on Windows, check the link below. I have a Windows installation guide that I did a few weeks ago. But I would recommend for even Windows and Mac is to use NVM. That's the Node Version Manager. And this script makes it just really easy to install the latest versions of Node, to upgrade Node, and to switch different versions. I'm not going to go into the installation of this, but you can use this curl script you can see below here on the webpage to install NVM. So we'll go ahead and take a look here. Here's my putty here. I'm logged into a Linux server. And I already have NVM installed, so if I go NVM ls, I can see what versions of the Node Manager I have running. So I have version 0.112.4 as my Node version, which is fine for what we're doing right now. All the latest versions of Node work fine with Ember CLI. So so we'll assume right now that you had a version of npm or Node installed. So if I did have a version of Node installed and I wanted to upgrade to the latest, I can do npm uninstall -tacg ember-cli, and that will simply uninstall Ember completely from my system. Then I would go npm cache clean, which would clear out my cache in npm, and Bower cache clean. And then I can go ahead and install the latest version of Ember CLI. And like I said before, it's a good idea, according to the user guide, to make sure you install Bower. So npm install tacg Bower. I already have Bower installed globally, so that's not needed. So to install Ember, go ahead and just clear this. We'll just npm install tacg Ember-cli. Now if you want a specific version, or if it's a beta version, you can put the @ sign here and then mark whatever version you want. 2.4.3 is the latest, but it's already in the repository, so we'll just go ahead and hit enter here. And make sure you put tacg, that installs it globally, so that we can run it from the command line. So this will take a few minutes, and then we'll take a look at it. So we went ahead and skipped forward here, so you don't have to wait to see the installation. It does take a few minutes. But now Ember is installed, so we can go ahead and just check to make sure it's installed right. Yep, 2.4.3 is the latest. So now we can go ahead and create our projects by going Ember new, my new project. But before we do that, one other thing I want to go through is, let's say you have an older project and you want to go ahead and update it to the latest version of Ember. So in this project, if we look inside the package.json file, we can see they're using an older version of Ember, 2.3.0 beta 2. So to get this taken care of, we can go rm/rf. We're going to go ahead and delete the modules folder, the Bower components folder, the dist folder, and the temp folder. And this is an existing project that we created earlier. So now after those are all installed, after those are all deleted, I should say, we can go ahead and do npm install. We'll clear it here. npm install tac save dev ember-cli 2.4.3. And that'll go ahead and install the latest version of Ember CLI inside our project here. So this will just take a minute. Okay, great. We're back. The Ember CLI installed. I went and fast forward that part for you so you didn't have to see it. So now if you look at the package.json file, you can now see the Ember CLI version is 2.4.3, which is good. So the next step is to go ahead and install all our npm packages and all our Bower packages. So I like to, we'll clear it here, Bower install, and then this just means that go ahead and just run npm install after the Bower install is done. So we'll hit enter there, and it'll begin the installation of all the Bower and npm packages. And once again, this will just take a couple minutes. Alright, everything is installed. All the npm packages and the node modules and the Bower modules are all installed. And now a very important last piece we need to do is we run ember init in the folder. And this runs the project blueprint again. So it's going to ask you if it can go ahead and overwrite some things. You can also hit here diff, which you can see what it's doing differently. So that way you make sure you're not deleting something you're not supposed to. If everything looks okay, you can just type Y for overwrite. So again, diff, I can see what's the difference between the readmes. I can update the Bower JSON. I can look at everything different here, and if it's something that's going to take a little bit more time, it's probably a good idea to back up some of these files and to maybe do some of this manually. You can see the differences. There's a lot of differences in the package.json file. Alright, so we're going to just say yes to all these, and then at the end of this it's installing the packages again for the npm, anything that we're missing. It'll tell us if everything's identical, it'll just say it's identical. And then it'll install the Bower packages again. So after that's all done, you should be all set with your system now. Your Ember project should be upgraded to the latest version. Of course, with any project, this is where the hard part comes in, because when you run Ember server and run the project and start going through your application, you'll probably notice one or more deprecation errors or one or more problems that you'll have. You can then at that point open up your project inside the Ember inspector and see what deprecation warnings or what warnings you're getting, and then try to fix those. And that can take some time depending on the project size. So that's it for now. This is an easy, just quick start of getting installed or updating your project under macOS and Linux. If you guys want some more information about this, look at the links below. I have a cookbook, the Ember.js cookbook, where I go in detail on how to install Ember, and then it goes over 65 different recipes covering all the basics of Ember, and then some advanced topics in using add-ons. Lots of different things, lots of different things you can take a look at. So check out the link below, and also has links to my webpage at programwitheric.com, and you can join my mailing list where I give discounts and tips and tricks on Ember, including Node and other front-end frameworks. Thanks.